in the heart of a West African savanna, where the air is thick with the scent of dried grass and the melodies of songbirds, there stands an ancient baobab tree, larger than any other for miles. The people of the village of Jali believe that this tree is the home of their ancestors' spirits and a symbol of their unity, strength, and wisdom. Its roots dig deep into the earth, holding on to centuries of memories, while its branches reach toward the heavens, offering prayers carried by the wind. The story follows a 12-year-old girl named Kia, whose bond with the baobab tree is unlike anyone else's. Raised by her grandmother, Nana Adisa, after her parents tragically passed away, Kia grew up under the shade of the baobab, listening to her grandmother's stories. Nana Adisa is the village's griot, the keeper of tales, songs, and histories passed down through generations. Her words carry the wisdom of the ancestors, and her voice is said to be the last link to the past. But time is cruel. Nana Adisa grows weaker with each passing day, and a shadow of loss looms over the village. The once vibrant voice that told the tales of the people is now faint, and with Nana's illness comes the fear that Jali's heritage may be lost forever. The elders are worried that without the griot, the knowledge of their ancestors, their stories, and their identity will vanish. Kia, heartbroken over her grandmother's illness, refuses to let the stories die. She is determined to learn them all before it's too late. Her nights are spent by Nana's bedside, gathering the fragments of stories and stitching them together in her mind, but it is an overwhelming task. Every day, Nana's voice fades further, and with it, the past slips through Kia's fingers like sand. Just as the village wrestles with the impending loss of its history, a new threat arrives in the form of Bamba, a wealthy merchant from the neighboring city. Bamba is known far and wide for his wealth and his ambition to modernize rural villages for the sake of commerce. He comes with promises of progress and wealth for the village. His offer? A vast sum of money in exchange for cutting down the ancient baobab tree. The land, Bamba says, is perfect for development, and the village could be a key trading post for merchants like him. At first, Bamba's offer is enticing. The villagers have struggled with droughts and poor harvests for years, and the money could bring them much-needed relief, new wells, better crops, and connections to the wider world. But Bamba's greed is evident, and his eyes gleam at the thought of owning the land beneath the sacred tree. The village elders gather to discuss Bamba's offer. Some are drawn to the wealth, seeing it as a way to ensure the village's future. Others, however, are horrified at the thought of losing the baobab, the soul of the village. They argue that no amount of gold can replace the spiritual and cultural heritage tied to the tree. But as the debate rages, it becomes clear that many elders are tempted by the promise of a better life. Determined to protect the baobab, Kia feels the weight of responsibility on her young shoulders. She knows that the tree is not just a physical presence, it's a spiritual anchor for the village, and its stories are woven into the very fabric of their lives. Yet, with her grandmother's health declining rapidly, Kia feels helpless. One night, as Kia sits by the baobab, overwhelmed by grief and the pressure of saving the tree, she encounters a mysterious bird. This bird, a brilliant and glowing creature named Jabari, tells Kia that the baobab's survival is tied to the stories of the past. The spirits of the ancestors, Jabari says, are restless for their stories have not been fully told. Jabari tells her that the baobab will only survive if the last of the griot's stories is passed down before Nana Adisa leaves this world. Kia embarks on a spiritual journey with Jabari as her guide. They travel to places beyond the physical world where the spirits of the ancestors dwell. Along the way, Kia learns the lost histories of her people, stories of bravery, sacrifice, and love that had been forgotten or buried with time. She discovers the tale of her parents, learning the full truth about their fate and the choices they made for her future. Through these stories, Kia understands that the past is not just history, it's a living part of who they are. The day of decision approaches. The village is set to choose between accepting Bamba's offer or preserving the baobab tree. As tensions rise, Kia rushes back from her spiritual journey, her heart full of the stories she has learned. She arrives in the village just as the final vote is being cast. Standing before the villagers and elders, Kia pleads for them to listen, not with their ears, but with their hearts. She tells the tales of their ancestors, stories of perseverance in the face of hardship, of sacrifices made for the sake of future generations, of the deep bond between the people and the land. Her voice, though young, carries the weight of the griot. The villagers are moved, many in tears as they hear the stories they had almost forgotten. Even Bamba, standing in the distance, is shaken by the power of Kia's words. The baobab tree, once on the brink of destruction, now stands as a symbol of resilience. The elders, swayed by Kia's storytelling, unanimously vote to preserve the baobab, understanding that their cultural and spiritual heritage is far more valuable than gold. With the village's future secured, Nana Adisa, lying in her bed, smiles as she listens to the last of her stories being told through Kia. She passes away peacefully, knowing that the griot's legacy will continue. Kia, now a young woman, stands before the baobab tree one final time. The spirits of the ancestors watch over her, their whispers carried on the wind as she sings the last song of the baobab, a song of the past, the present, and the future.